everybody. It's time for an update from me about what's going on at the clinic, and then I have some other stuff that I'd like to talk to you about. Um, we are not open to seeing patients at the moment because we don't have masks. Should have some by the weekend. That would make me ecstatic if we finally got them so we could get back into the treatment room for those who want to come. For those of you who don't want to come into a clinic or even leave the house, or can't leave the house, we have set up a telehealth program, which would essentially be something similar to what I'm doing with you right now, except that I would be doing it with one person, or Joanna or Emily or Ben will be doing it with one person, and the two of us will talk and look at each other and whatever we need to talk about. One of the things I'd really like you to know, because I can just hear some people saying, how can you do acupuncture through telehealth? Acupuncture isn't all of what we do. And there's an awful lot that we can offer you that doesn't involve needles. So there are things like nutritional counseling and stress reduction exercises, and Ben and Emily and Joanna, who are all herbalists, can actually talk with you and come up with an herbal formula for you that we will get to you. It's just, or even just be somebody for you to talk to who's outside your home. I feel a little bit like I did when I was a mother of really small children. It's like, please, just let me talk to a grown-up for a while. We can offer that to you. So the way to get to that, this is all beta tested right now. So the procedures through our scheduler are in place so that you can make an appointment. The easiest thing for you to do it first is to just call the clinic, and I will give you a call back and we'll set something up. So the clinic phone number is 413-768-8333. So that's 413-768-8333. We will then make an appointment and get you an email that explains or talk you through how to set up Zoom on your phone or your computer if you don't have it already. And then we can have a conversation like this through telehealth. We can also just talk to you on the phone if you'd like to do that. The other way that you can make an appointment is through the website. So if you go to our website, then you will see at the bottom of the very first screen that comes up on a computer. You might have to, I haven't checked this on the phone yet, I should check it. There's a banner there that says the COVID-19 update, and tells you that we can do Zoom conferencing with you, and a button on that banner that will then take you to a place where take you to our scheduler where you can sign up. Now this is available to current patients as well as new patients. So you will find a way through the website to sign up if you're new, or you could do it as an existing patient. Again, like I said, it may be a little quirky. We have to get some people to try it, and I'm going to work with somebody this afternoon, a patient who's volunteered to be one of our lab rats for this, and she's going to, we're going to work on it together to see if she can sign up. But it's here and we can do it, and we really want to be available to you to help you get through this, and also to help you stay on your healing track, the goals that you want to meet. We can even tell you, I did this by phone the other night actually with a patient. There are acupressure points that we could tell you about that are good for supporting you or good for stress reduction, and I actually was explaining how to find a point on the phone with no pictures, and it worked really well. So encourage you to check it out if you would like to continue to have treatment, or we'd like to start having treatment while this is going on. And then we can also let you know, and we will, if you're a current patient, we will let you know as soon as we get the masks. And then we can, if you want to come in, we can make an appointment then. So we've got telehealth. Oh, the website address is www.karenadamsacupuncture.com. Very easy. It's www.karenadamsacupuncture.com. www.karenadamsacupuncture. So I think I said that wrong. www.karenadamsacupuncture.com. So be in touch. Current patients, we will check in with you, even just to see, even just a 5-minute phone call to say, hey, how you doing? Are you keeping it together? Is stuff starting to slip? Do you feel like you're losing control? Things like that. We just want to check in and make sure that everybody's still doing okay, and we'll do that throughout this virus stuff, unless you tell us that you don't need to have us call. Getting us set up for that has meant a lot of time. I've been spending a lot of time with our scheduler to make it happen, and a lot of time on our website to make it happen. And so I think I got it, but we'll test drive it. We'll have to test drive it. Let me see if there was anything else business related that I wanted to let you know about. Just checking the notes here. We've got, yeah. There are a few steps to the beta testing, to the telehealth thing, so it may be a good idea to call if this is your first time, because you have to get an account with our scheduler, and I can walk you through doing that. That's it for the business stuff. I think we have all of our procedures in place to make sure that you're safe and that we're safe when you come. And that, by the way, is going to be posted on the website. I'll explain that in just a minute, but everything's in place. All we're waiting for is the masks, because, if you may have noticed that the numbers in the county are starting to climb, and it is totally our responsibility to make sure that we have something so that we don't, if we happen to be carrying and don't know it, we're not going to make you sick. And we also will have masks for patients to wear. So if you're carrying something and you don't know about it, you won't get sick. And so as soon as they hit here, I'm hoping this weekend, there's a local person who's been doing some importing of these masks. And she's hoping that it's going to be this weekend. But, I ordered masks 4 weeks ago and they finally have shipped. And they're not going to get here till the end of May. So, this is one reason why I've been pushing the telehealth stuff. But fingers crossed, light your candles on the altar for the masks to arrive. That'd be great. On the website, one of the things I've added to the website is a resource library. The videos that I've been producing will end up there eventually once I figure that part out. Also, there will be a DIY section. What are the things that you can do at home that can help you stay strong and healthy? And that will include things like recipes, and it's going to have if you heard the video that I did a couple of weeks ago on here are the recommendations that have come from Chinese doctors who have been working with folks who have the virus in China. They're really simple things to do that have to do with hydrating and how we hydrate and different steps, things like that, so that you can do them at home and incorporate them, that are beyond spending all of your life trying to disinfect all the surfaces in your house every time somebody goes in and out. It's just so much that people keep saying, do this, do this, do this. And we're so worried and scared that I feel like I could spend my entire time just washing my house down, which, by the way, I hate. So I really would rather not be doing that. I'd rather talk to you. I appreciate the opportunity to do that. And the other stuff that's going to be on that site is going to be copies of point location charts, because when we do a telehealth, we can actually say, well, here's a point. I'll tell you one right now. There's a point right here. I hope you can see this well, right where your wrist creases. And you'll find, if you follow the bone down from your hand, it's right in between some tendons, right there. That is a point that I use all the time for shock. And you can put some pressure on it. It doesn't have to be a lot of pressure, but really, when I started learning how to use my hands to do acupuncture, what I visualized, because I always wanted to approach the points with respect, I visualized my finger being a bit like a laser. And so I would just rest my finger lightly on a point and zap it with my own personal laser. And I always had a red laser, which is interesting because I have since learned that red laser light is the exact same as the light that's emitted by a cell. So you can use your finger, or you can get one of those, those little laser lights that you use to drive your cats and dogs crazy. They have that. They have that red light, and so you could point that light at the point on your wrist. Start with your left hand, go to your right hand, do both sides for about 30 seconds, maybe. Could go longer, but 30 seconds should do it. And what that does is calm down the heart and helps get all of the, shock scatters everything. So this helps bring you back to yourself. It's a great point. Great point for that. So you could be doing that just with acupressure. It's just this, just putting your little pressure on that spot, very little, very light, and you just hang out there for a while, and then change sides and do the other side, and you've just given yourself a treatment. So there's lots of points that we can show you how to do at home, and the diagrams for those points are going to be up on the website. So that's something else that we would talk about during a telehealth conference is what can we do? What points can we show you? I did this actually the other night with a patient. I called up to just check and see how he was doing, and he's in a lot of pain. And there's actually a point that's good for general overall body pain. And we were just on the telephone, and I'm trying to explain the location of the point, which is in an odd place, and it worked. I managed to explain it. He managed to figure out what I was talking about, and I'm going to check in with him later this week to see how it's been helping him. So that will be up on the website. You can learn more about it when you talk to us. Give us a call, sign up through the website, and we'll meet with you. We want you to know that you're not alone and that we're here for you. And just all you got to do is reach out, and we'll figure out how we're going to do this. So that ends the business portion of our presentation here. And now I want to just talk to you about trauma, because the things that we're going through right now are traumatic to us. And I think it may be helpful if I just went down a list of the signs of trauma. I'll tell you, when I was looking up for a complete list so I would have something for you, I was like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. It's this time is traumatic. And then once we recognize that, then there are things that we can do to build our resiliency to this. So a traumatic event is something that happens that just shakes up our world, our worldview, our view of ourselves. It can be anything from, the having a hurricane hit to having a virus completely disrupt our lives. That's traumatic. People do survive trauma. There are many of our patients who are trauma survivors. And the first thing to know is to sort of recognize this is what's going on. When I went through this myself, so I know that this is true. When I first had somebody tell me that I was in fact a trauma survivor, it was like, oh, okay. All right. That explains so much. And so there's a big relief in hearing that this is what's happening. It gives you a little understanding of what's going on. So one of the first signs of trauma, of how it shows up in us, is shock. So something happens, it's shocking, it knocks us off balance, or it knocks our feet up from underneath us, and disbelief. So I don't know about you, but I keep walking around going, is this really happening? This can't be happening. This is just too weird. It's too it's too disruptive. It can't be happening. It can't be real. Another sign of trauma is confusion and disorientation. And one of the things that I've noticed in the last couple of weeks is it feels like time is completely different than it's been any time prior to this. Like, it's only been 2 weeks since this really started to kick up here in this country. And it feels like it's been months. It feels like it's been going on forever. And so sometimes I feel like my feet aren't on the ground. Like I'm not, or I feel like I'm straddling a couple of different universes. You know, there's a universe where everything goes on ticking along the way it's supposed to do, and I go grocery shopping and I do some computer work, and then there's the part that says, oh my God, what are you doing even leaving the house? That's the other universe. It's very disorienting. It's very hard to keep balanced on that when that's going on. Another trauma symptom is mood swings, and that's going to show up differently for everybody. A lot of times people get really angry easily, so they're irritable, or things will make them flash to anger that wouldn't normally do that. Can also feel really sad for no reason, or they just you go up and down. You have energy. I'll tell you, a good example of this for me was 3 days ago. I found out that I could get masks, and I was over the moon, because I mean, like, way out of proportion to just getting masks, because it would give if I had masks, my life would be somewhat more normal than it is at the moment. And then the masks didn't arrive when they thought they would, which was, by the way, just the next day. And my mood just plummeted, and trying to pull myself back up was difficult. So we've got shock and disbelief, we've got confusion, difficulty in focusing, we have mood swings. Those are all symptoms. Another is heightened anxiety and fear. So one of the reasons that anxiety and fear is here now is because we have no idea what's going to happen next. And everything that we hear is terrifying. We may never leave our homes again. We may get this illness, and we may get it bad enough to end up in the hospital, and it sounds absolutely hideous. And please, if you're one of those people who's reading the stories that folks have been posting about their experience of having this disease, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Like, you don't need to do it anymore. If you've done it, you know everything you need to know. It's just, you're just making your anxiety worse. Just you might even consider really rationing the amount of news that you are listening to or reading, because it just makes things harder for you. Another thing that's really interesting that shows up in trauma is guilt and self-blame. And I think for most of us right now, that's a sort of projected thing, as in, how would I feel if I went to do an errand and I wasn't wearing a mask, and somebody I met there got sick and died? So before anything has even happened, if it even happens, there's a certain amount of guilt. If that makes you make sure that you're keeping social distancing, then that's a good coping mechanism. But you don't need to feel guilty about something that hasn't happened yet, if it even happened. But it is a common feeling when we're going through trauma. Another symptom of trauma, which I find fascinating right now, is isolating, pulling away from people. Just and given that we're being told to isolate ourselves, I have no idea how that's going to play out for people as we go forward. But pulling back from folks, not wanting to talk to your friends, Um, if you're pulling away from people and you're isolating to the degree that it's really interfering with your life here, I guess is a good way to put it. Because it's isolating now because we have to is going to be disruptive. Isolating because of the trauma effects that hits you here is different. Um, Feeling sad and hopeless. That certainly is one of the mood swings that I've gone through in the last couple of weeks. Particularly, we're in a situation now where we're used to being able to do specific things, and we may not be able to do them right now, and that feels like a loss. And because this is uncertain times, we don't know that it's ever going to get better, and so hopelessness is also a trauma symptom. And then the last one on this list, because there's lots of other stuff that could be said about this, is feeling numb or feeling disconnected. So if you have, I mean, I could, you can put my name next to every one of the items on that list. In the last 2 weeks, I have experienced all of them. And this is one reason why, I mean, this is my work. I work with people, I specialize in working with people who have experienced trauma. And if you can find a way to reach out to somebody, make the phone calls. People are getting so creative about how they're doing this too, by the way. So make the phone calls. I don't know, put a sign in your window. It's just it's just like, hey, I'm in this too. I understand. That would be great. I would love to see that. Signs in the windows of houses all over Greenfield saying two things. Here's your homework assignment. Put a sign in your window that says two things. I understand, and you are not alone. And I will guarantee you that that's going to be an uplift for somebody. So to sum all of this up, I've given you a very broad overview of how trauma shows up for us, and I know that many of us are trauma survivors. So I might be preaching to the choir, but I'm a trauma survivor, and I forgot half this stuff. So when I read the list, I was like, oh, that's what's going on for you, Karen. It's not that you're just getting sad for no reason. You're sad because it's a trigger. You're sad because this is traumatic. You're actually sad for a lot of reasons. Things are changing. I have no idea what it's going to shake out as. My life may be completely different. And if I lose some of what I'm used to, I'm going to grieve that. So it's helpful for you to talk to somebody who's familiar with trauma stuff. If your friends, your family, a therapist, if you've got a therapist, so that they can help you see that the fact that you just flipped out all over your kids and then ran away crying is actually a normal response to what we're going through right now. And then once you can begin to get that here, then you work on the strategies about, okay, so this is just not going to be a one-off. This is quite likely going to come up for you again. So how can you manage that when that happens? There's not a good roundup to this. I just wanted you to know that indeed this is a traumatic time for almost all of us to varying degrees, and that you are not alone. There are people out here who will help you and help you find your feet again. Because what will happen as this goes forward, I predict, is that we get traumatized, we experience the trauma, and then we get our feet back under us for a while. And then something else, there's that pinball, something else is going to whack us and knock our feet out from under us again. And then we got to get our feet back so that we can keep doing the things that have to be done. Kids still need love and attention. Kids still need to go for walks. You still need to go for walks. The dog still needs to go for a walk. All these, the bill paying, looks like there's some help coming for us for that, but it still has to get done as much as we can make it happen. So that's what I want you to take away from this. Reach out to somebody. We would love to hear from you. It doesn't have to be us. Could be your pastor or your priest, which is not a bad idea in these times. Remember, I can't remember who said that, but there's an old saying that says, when you've done everything you can do, you might want to try prayer. So you could do that. And God bless you all, or heaven bless you all, or the universe bless you all, however you want to say that. Give us a call if you need us, and I'll be back in touch after I do the next video.